For Honor, like many Ubisoft games at the time, had a really bad launch, from disconnect issues, unbalanced characters, and just a lack of polish. Years later, the game has seen some major improvements over its 2017 form. So for those unfamiliar, For Honor is a third-person medieval fighting game, where the player will take control of fighters from 3 main factions, 4 including later DLC, the Knights, Vikings, and Samurai. The new faction included with the DLC Marching Fire is the Wu Lin faction, a Chinese faction. So is the game still active and worth playing today? Let's find out. The game's main focus and draw is the Art of Battle system, which at the time it was quite a new idea. The idea being you lock onto an enemy and you'll enter duel mode. Then you'll have 3 directions which you can attack or defend from, up, left and right. Which may sound simple, but there's a lot of variety in moves between all the different heroes. Characters can feint, guard break, throw people into pits and spikes, dodge and parry. All of these add up to make quite an in-depth combat system, in theory. Sometimes due to characters only having a small amount of viable moves, or the skill of the player, you'll be seeing a lot of the same moves from certain heroes. I think the combat at ground level is actually really fun, but fuck me if it's not the most annoying game I have played at times. Graphically, the game holds up pretty well at the dawn of the next gen. Effects are good, environments look really nice, and characters are very nicely detailed. The sound is also good, clashing of blades feel awesome, and I do enjoy the little sounds of characters' armour moving, and floorboards creaking as you walk about. Weird things to enjoy in a fighting game, but it just makes the game feel nicer. The music is a mix of rock style and medieval style, very enjoyable if sometimes a bit odd. The maps themselves seem to change depending on the season. I could be very wrong about that, but that's from what I'm getting. Most maps at the moment are very burnt and sandy, but some maps still retain their original look, being very colourful. The game does have a single player campaign. The campaign has its own levelling system and perks. It's all very basic, just allowing you to choose what type of buffs you have for each level. There are a few difficulties to choose from easy to hard, and then realistic, which will remove the directional dial for combat, so you have to pay attention to the opponent rather than an icon. The campaign has its moments, but it can get quite samey at times. It also acts as a little time capsule for characters and moves. Since characters in the multiplayer mode may have altered movesets now, they have stayed the same in the campaign. You can also play the campaign with a friend or a rando and it works fine. It's okay, but definitely not the main draw of the game. That is the multiplayer. So For Honor's multiplayer experience is the main draw of the game. When you launch the game you pick a faction, and what that does is it chooses your faction for the overall war. At the end of each match, you can choose to put down a war banner or deploy troops, and whoever deploys the most troops wins that particular campaign, rewarding you with some goodies if you win, and a sense of accomplishment. Multiplayer has a variety of modes: Duel, a 1v1, Brawl, a 2v2, Dominion, which is a 4v4 mode where gear score matters, and you can capture points and push the enemy to a breaking point in which they can no longer spawn. The mode also includes minions along a specific route, which will aid you in capturing point. It's quite a fun mode, but some matches can end up feeling very one-sided, or you just end up getting ganked all the time. Tribute and Deathmatch, which are also 4v4 modes, which are just varying modes about killing people. Since this game came out 3 years ago, some modes are very obviously dead. The game will give you an indication of how populated a mode is, so Dominion normally is very high, while things like Deathmatch are normally very low. I play Duel most of the time, which is normally on medium or low activity, and it still doesn't take that long to get into matches. The game has added a number of new heroes since launch, all through Rainbow Six Siege style seasons, where you buy a season pass to get it early or free, or just wait till they come out and grind some in-game money to buy them. As far as I know, there is no current way to outright buy all the heroes. You can get all the Chinese faction heroes by purchasing the Marching Fire expansion, which also includes a new PvE mode. I have not bought this, so I will not be taking a look at that, but hey, it's there. From what I understand, it's just PvE missions like the campaign. Recently, you've been able to buy single heroes as they release. This is what I did to get my current favourite man, Kyoshin. The DLC also brought in a new mode, Breach Mode. I haven't played this as much as the others, but I did dive in and play a bit, and it seems very much like the Chivalry modes. You escort a ram through the map as an attacker, and eventually kill a commander. It's a pretty fun mode and a nice change of pace. So as I said, you have 3 main factions, the Vikings, Knights, Samurai, and the new Wulin faction. All factions have a variety of heroes to choose from, all with their own playstyles and combos. They are all split into classes, Vanguard being basic and easy to use, great for your starter character. Assassin, which tends to be a more quick parry counterattack type of hero, Heavy, just very large people with very large weapons, and a Hybrid who just pokes you and is very fucking annoying. And with the addition of more characters over time, they've added more advanced character playstyles. You can customise the armour and look of your heroes, as well as the gender, granted that particular class isn't gender locked. Levelling up heroes will grant you more items to customise your chosen hero, as well as gear, which is more useful for modes that utilise it. Otherwise it's just fashion, which can get really cool at times. You can also unlock finishing moves and a crazy amount of effects and emotes. Some of the finishing moves are pretty wonderful though. Levelling up a character will also unlock their feats, which are abilities to use in modes that allow it. They can range from powering up your minions, or shooting someone with a bow and arrow, powering up yourself, or calling death from the sky. These abilities are only used in the 4v4 modes, so in duels you won't have to worry about these things. So For Honor can be quite fun, but it can also be incredibly frustrating. The game has a super steep learning curve. It may seem simple at first, you just move your stick to block, find an annoying spammable attack, and victory. That works at the start, kind of, but once you start going up against better players, that just doesn't work. You'll have to start learning the ins and outs of your characters and enemies, so you may just want to find your favourite character at the start and then try and stick with them so you can figure out how to use them against everyone. There is a ton of frustration to it, but it is also super rewarding when you can come out on top of a 1v3 situation. I would probably not recommend this game to someone who's looking to take it really casually, but if you're looking to really get into it, then go for it. It's normally quite cheap, has a wide variety of characters, and it can be super fun once you get past the getting wrecked phase. The play base is still there and you can find a match in almost all modes. I'm in the EU, so match times may vary if you live on the moon or something, but I did find it quite easy to find people to play with. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.